I think we got some intake manifold adapters that are going to work. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take it all back apart, and I got some hand blending to do on the ports to get them to match. I've got some scrap heads, so I'll mount them up and then go ahead and soften up these ports. This CNC machine wouldn't, you know, make it look like we would want it to look, so I don't think the software was able to visualize what needed to be done. But man, these everything lines up real nice and everything fits up real nice. All the angles are correct. So we're going to go ahead and this kind of gives you an idea what I'm thinking on the air cleaner assembly. This will fit under the hood. So again, that was always my goal, and if I don't have to run any type of you know, riser or 1-inch spacer under the carb, this will seal up to that hood and give me what I need to, and then still get flexibility for that engine to move, since I am still running the regular 124 engine mounts. But so let's go ahead and get this back apart, and I'm going to see exactly how these ports look once matched up to the head. One more thing before I tear this apart, because I don't know how long it's going to be down. If you guys wouldn't mind giving me some feedback, you know, one of the reasons I did this 351 Cleveland setup was because I was always a big fan of the old Panteras, and they ran the Ford 351 Cleveland, and they ran Weber carbs on those with stacks. And when I was looking around for different intake manifolds to run, the 351 Cleveland had a lot of it. Not only did it work, you know, logistically with this particular engine, but it would enable me to run a carburetor, single carb, a tunnel ran dual carbs, a 671 blower, so a root style blower, old school blower, stack fuel injection. All those things are now a possibility with the 113 build while running these intake manifold adapters. I'm just kind of curious if you guys gave me any feedback, if that type of stuff you think is a performance part that people would be interested in. I know the Benz crowd's kind of a whole different crowd, and I kind of mix the two, the domestic engine stuff with the German. But I'm just kind of curious if, because I intend to do something more with this other than just a single 4-barrel carb. I definitely would love to do a 55 bottom end, you know, a boosted bottom end with like a head setup that I'm running here, and then a root 671 or root style blower with a carburetor, of course. So before I tear this apart, it's just something I was thinking about, so I thought I'd ask. Just a little more detail as we take the engine apart. It literally takes 5 minutes to pull this intake off, because obviously there's just nothing there. Not that the stock engine is very difficult, but when there's literally just a couple connections and essentially no wiring or anything, the engine is so simple and easy to work on, just like I guess an older engine would be. But I'm gonna pull. I'll do a little bit better look at with light from the bottom how these adapters look straight from the machinist, and then obviously it'll give me an indication of what I need to do to just soften them up, make sure the flow, you know, enters the runner nice. So next, here we can see the manifold made it up to the adapter. That's not. And then, you know, I told him I prefer if we air on either side to make them a little bit smaller than the ports. That way they could be port matched, which is pretty typical with any aftermarket manifold. You know, you would want to port match it if you really think it's going to gain you anything. But so that's what you'd be accomplishing. Obviously I'm going to go ahead and soften up the adapters. I don't know how much I'll port match it, because I'd rather just see how it does just being bolted up and just see how it runs. And that stuff I can always do down the road. But Again, I think all this looks good. This is kind of what we expected and what we were shooting for. So this is going to be a massive improvement. I really think this is going to be a massive improvement over that cobbled up thing that I had on it initially. So I'm excited to get this finally going. Spent a couple days on this, getting the ports all smoothed out. As you can see, really anything you see, the gap there is just with the gasket. So these turned out really nice. They match up real nice. So I'm just gonna go with this. I didn't change any type of dimension of the port. Just took out those ridges. So I think this thing's ready to bolt up, and I'm real excited. This should do a lot better than the last set. It's been about a month since those adapters, that last part of the video. It's been a month of hell. You know, the adapters just didn't, we had issues with adapters. We needed another modification done to prevent an intake vacuum leak. So we got that figured out after many struggles, but it runs. So I also made a change. I was running more of a Speeduino based ignition system to run that ignition system, and I bit the bullet and just went ahead and got a Mega Squirt, which I can use for future projects. And if I decide to do a turbo or boost or fuel injection or whatever. So I tell you, you know, in hindsight, I wish I would have just gone with that type of system from the get-go. It would have alleviated a lot of headaches and a lot of work that was just kind of unnecessary. It's nice to have more of a professional design product, even if it's the old, you know, Arduino-based in Tuner Studio, but with the harnesses that are, you know, really nice gold-plated harness connections and everything. It just eliminated a lot of hassle. So I went ahead and put the 8 holes back on it. It does have the R129 rear wheels, the 8-inch wide rear wheels, and then the factory stock 8 holes up front that you would normally have on a 124. And then I stuck with that same size that I was running before with the R129 wheels. But I ended up buying a 129. So I will probably end up running those wheels, and that's why I swapped it. That'll give you a little bit of an insight to what I plan to do with the hammer. So, and then that's really it. So that was all I was trying to get accomplished, was to get it running, and then I'll worry about doing the wheels and the tires and fender flares and all that other stuff I plan to do. I want to go ahead and start it up for you and let you hear it. Now this is cold start, so these cams are significantly more aggressive than the old ones, but we will go ahead and fire it up and let you hear it, and I'll let you see the engine. my new air cleaner set up. Seals right up against the hood. Helped eliminate some of that. So my plan is to get this car cleaned up over this next week. Well, I think it's actually 2 weeks. We've got a local car show, and I think I'll go ahead and try to enter it for the import class. They've got an import class. It's a predominantly classic muscle car show. But anywhere I take this car, I get a lot of interest in it, which is cool. That's what it's all about. I just try to go out there and meet people and talk about the car, and even the old domestic guys, you know, we have a mutual interest, and everybody likes seeing this kind of stuff. So this car is a ton of fun. I did run it around. I'm having some O2 sensor issues right now, so I guess I got to buy another one. Gone through 2 of them, but I'm running the Innovate, I think it is, the brand of O2, you know, wideband O2 sensor readout. And man, it just eats O2 sensors for whatever reason. So I know I had dumped a bunch of fuel in the last one, just trying to get some tune. So it's really just tuned off of my my instincts and my ears and everything. But the power delivery is just night and day. It's completely different. It makes the most power from about, I shifted at about 6,000, and with this setup, I've also got the tach and everything working, a temp gauge, oil pressure gauge, all that stuff works now. And I shifted about 6,000, and 4 to 6,000, it just, it rips, man. This engine runs just it's what I've always wanted. So, of course, we can always do upgrades, and like I said, you know, I can run a 671 blower, which that'd probably be my dream build, would be to do like a 55 compressor bottom end with a Weiand 671 blower on it, and still carbureted. I like the carbureted, but the engine's just awesome. So happy with this build. So my plans with the wheels, that just kind of changes the whole aesthetics of the car. I think at this point I'm kind of done with the drivetrain, which is nice. It's very relieving to not have to deal with this. Is the stuff that takes a lot of head scratching and time to get this stuff worked out. But finally, 351 Cleveland intake on it, and this carburetor, and everything flows and runs great. I think I probably end up having to do my own headers at some point. Unless I can find somebody, you know, locally that would want to take the time to build them for a reasonable price. Otherwise, I'll probably have to do it myself. That'd be the only, I think, performance upgrade I'd do to this, would be some headers to this engine anyway. But if I did the, like the Roots blower, not the, you know, Benz compressor, but an old, you know, Weiand style, GM style 671 blower, I would just do a lower compression, you know, beefed up bottom end, like a 55 compressor bottom end. So at this point, I think this is kind of done for the season. I'm not doing too much more. I think this summer I actually want to drive it and enjoy it and get out there and talk to people and have fun with it. You know, the winter time is to sit there and waste time. So success so far. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.